What up, everybody? Welcome into the Bourbon Buzzed and Ballin' podcast. We are your hosts, Colby and Dutt, and we're going to talk all things sports, and of course, we're going to drink some bourbon.
Yes, we are. Our favorite two things to do.
That's right.
Well, you know we always like to start off our show with an opening toast, so let's dive right into it.
Let's dive. I think we got a lot of stuff we got to get to tonight. We got maybe some crow to eat tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got crow to eat, but
Not really. We called a upset over in Notre Dame.
Yeah,
and
we did call that one.
We said that very well could be, Alabama having to go into LSU.
Yeah.
No easy task. I
thought we would pull that one out personally, but
I think talking about Alabama going into LSU leads into your opening toast.
yeah, I'm gonna give Brian Kelly some props on an open toast. I think that was very ballsy. It was the right decision.
It was.
It was the right decision. I'm gonna follow up that decision in a little bit later part of this podcast
Right.
and another segment that we like to do. But yeah, I'm gonna toast you, Brian Kelly. That was a good call, man.
That was. I was impressed. I didn't see that coming at the time.
I think he said his defense was tired and he was worried about extending it, and I mean it was
It just felt like it was the right time to do it.
yeah, man. He earned his stripes in that one. He earned my respect.
Okay. Yeah, and just a couple of other things I was going to mention for the opening toast. Sports world lost a few more people this weekend. Ray Guy, first punter ever in the Hall of Fame, first punter to be drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. I mean, he changed the position.
First punter I ever thought about as a kid. Ray Guy.
And now the best punter in college football gets the Ray Guy Award.
Yeah.
Tremendous career what he did. Vince Dooley, talking college football, Vince Dooley, long career at Georgia, both coaching and in administrative. He passed away at 90, won the 1980 national championship with Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Then you got John McVay, who was basically the executive architect of all those 49ers
Right.
Super Bowls, and Sean McVay's grandfather.
Yeah.
Who's currently coaching the Rams. Another thing that I forgot about it until I saw that he had passed away, but he was coaching the Giants during the Joe Pisarcik, Larry Zonka fumble that Herm Edwards scooped up to run in for the game-winning touchdown. So now that's why everybody now takes a knee instead of handing the ball off.
Oh, yeah. I remember the highlight of that sure.
He was the coach that called that play, and so anyway, those guys passed away. They're going to be missed. Condolences to the family, but so let's just raise our glass to them and to Brian Kelly for
kiss my ass, Brian Kelly. Good
Cheers.
call.
It was. Cheers. Oh,
I gotta remember what I'm drinking, because sometimes I take too big of a drink. It makes me choke. It's bourbon.
I thought you were saying that you didn't remember
I
what
forget,
you poured tonight.
I look at it, I'm like, hey, sweet tea, boom, we're taking a drink. But no, I'm sipping on a little Ezra.
Okay, some
I'm
Ezra
going
Brooks.
to do the Ezra Brooks 99.
Okay.
Giving it another shot.
Yeah.
I don't remember how we rated it. It wasn't great.
I think it was either a 2 or a 3.
Oh, was it that good?
Yeah, it wasn't a 1. We didn't brown bag it.
Yeah, one of them I don't remember. At any rate, what you sipping on?
The Ezra Brooks, actually, we rated both of them a mixer. We gave them both 2s. Yep.
All right.
I am actually on some Heaven Hill bottled in bond.
Okay.
So, I saw you grab that 99 proof. I had to one-up you.
Yeah.
And get that 100
Get
proof.
the 100. I almost grabbed that bottle and bond, that Heaven Hill.
Well, I was over there looking around, trying to decide what I wanted to drink with tonight's show, and I almost grabbed a Willet. I was like, I mean, usually, that's one of my go-tos on the show, or the Rabbit Hole, and I was like, I've done those on a couple of shows already, so I wanted to do something different. So I grabbed a Heaven Hill bottled and bond, and it's a good one. I don't think we ever rated it.
I don't think so either.
But we'll have to.
This one's pretty good this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Scumbag, man.
Let's turn to the scumbags. I'll let you start with your scumbag.
Oh, okay. You want me to
Because
go first?
I might get on a rant when I start talking about mine.
All right. Well, my scumbag of the week, and let me preface this scumbag of the week. I'm not talking about personal. Most of our scumbags of the week is more of a character assassination,
right.
not really by us because they've assassinated themselves. My scumbag of the week is not necessarily he's a scumbag, but number one, he pisses me off. It's Pete Golding, DC defensive coordinator of Alabama.
Right.
How in the hell do you not expect either a rub route or some kind of route to the corner, to the pylon at the goal line?
And have
you watched that play over and over?
But I also saw the exact same play used in 2 of the football NFL games I was watching this weekend. Exact same play.
I watched that play over and over. Alabama was in man, which I understand pre-snap. Man press, show it. But why in the hell do we not switch off from man press to more of a zone? He expected Jordan Battle to cross over traffic and still get to that pylon and stop that play. That is ridiculously stupid, Pete Golding. If you didn't expect it, we expected it.
It reminds me of another game we lost, which had big implications.
Yeah, but at least that was a pick.
Yeah.
These weren't even picks.
Right.
He expected our free safety, who we've already seen can't cover in a phone booth. I mean, Jordan Battle is okay on a long pass. He's a good tackler, but he is not a man-for-man type cover guy. And you're going to have him run around traffic to try to make that play. Pete Golding, that's unfucking acceptable. You're my scumbag of the week. Now, I'm not advocating firing him.
Right.
But, dude,
I might later in the episode.
dude, come on, man. If you're going to be there, I can think of other names right now that I'd rather coach go for. Pete. Come on, dude. That's terrible.
And that, on piggybacked off of not making any adjustments in the Tennessee game.
Zero adjustments.
So
0 adjustments. You're garbage, man. I mean, I've seen Feinbaum show. People called into the Feinbaum show and just railed on Golding. And Golding's dad called in crying, man. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Well, this is why, Mr. Golden. This is why.
Well, it's funny you mentioned calling into the Feinbaum show.
Oh, I helped you. I led you in, didn't I?
You opened up the door for my scumbag of the week is Mr. Paul Feinbaum. He's, really had a lot to say this week about Nick Saban and basically said he's wasted the careers of Bryce Young and Will Anderson. So, winning a national championship, Heisman Trophy, Defensive Player of the Year, countless other awards. Both are fixing to be top 5, maybe top 3 picks in the NFL. That's wasting their career.
Can you say overreaction?
I got 4 words for Paul. Shut the fuck up.
You're a shock jock.
You've turned
That's it.
I used to have some respect for, Paul. He got into the position he's in because of his journalistic abilities early in his career.
Right.
But now, like you said, he's become a shot. He's trying to be Colin Cowherd, Skip Bayless, Danny Cannell. They all want to, hey, look at me over here. I want the attention on me. I'm a TV star. I'm not writing for a newspaper or anything like that anymore.
He makes these statements just for shock value.
Whatever fits his agenda. If it fits his agenda to kiss Saban's ass, that's what he's going to do is kiss his ass. But now that he sees that opportunity, how many times has he written Alabama off?
Oh, how many times we're being written off right now? Which
absolutely,
we're gonna finish this show up.
Yeah,
our final segment's gonna be talking about the Alabama
is the dynasty dead?
Over? Is it dead? I mean,
did you see what Kiffin said about Feinbaum?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He created a new term, goat fuel.
Oh, I didn't see the goat fuel.
He said.
Oh, well, I did see what he said, but I didn't.
He told Paul to shut up.
Yeah, you're just riling him up.
Yeah, and you're just giving him the goat fuel because every time somebody says something, it just fuels him to.
They wrote us off after we got beat 44-16 to Clemson, who supposedly was the standard, much like they're talking about Georgia as the standard now. Georgia, it takes a lot more than one to become a standard.
Bottom line, every recruiting class that Nick has had has still left with a natty.
Sure.
Another thing Kiffin said after he was talking about the goat fuel was, how many times does Saban have to prove you wrong before you'll just shut up?
Yeah, just shut up. Everybody, just shut up. I mean, what's the record? What was the record? I forgot already. It's ridiculous. What is that, our 18th or 19th loss? No, 27. He's 185 and 27.
This is only the second time since 2010
that we've lost.
We've had 2 losses before the Iron Bowl.
Exactly.
And we'll get to more of that at the end of the show.
I say we skip everything now and just jump into it because I'm mad. I'm fueled about this convo.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So those are our scumbags. And I think we picked a couple of worthy recipients.
Golding, I'm not talking about you personally, but as a DC dude, you're at scumbag level as a DC with all that talent.
He's got to be hanging on by, and he also had the DUI last year, so I mean he's got to have a short leash, I would think.
All that talent.
All right, well let's just get off the scumbags and let's come in hot. Talk about a few other topics before we really dive into some pro and college football.
All right.
Obviously everybody knows the Astros won the World Series in impressive fashion. Game 4, the combined no-hitter, only second no-hitter in World Series history.
Yep.
Impressive. The Astros.
Dusty Baker's first World Series.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I know. I mean, you would have thought that he's won multiple, but yeah, his first one. So that's 2 more people that we could have toasted. Dusty and the Astros. So
that was my first player. Dusty Baker.
First player what?
That was my first baseball player that I ever idolized, Dusty Baker.
Well, let's go ahead. We usually don't do a second toast, but
we're toasting Dusty.
Let's toast Dusty and the Astros.
Right. Cheers, Dusty.
Cheers. Yeah, because you talk about the longevity of his career as a player, a manager. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
And did it all with a toothpick in his mouth.
I think he goes to bed with a toothpick in his mouth. What else you got?
Well, you got college basketball tipped off yesterday, so we're not going to talk a lot about it because it was really a lot of just might as well call them exhibition games.
The Duke Blue Devils, Coach Kalish season.
Coach Kalish kicks off.
Yep. It tipped off and they look good.
So we'll let college basketball get going, a little bit before we really start talking more about it.
UNC gonna be tough.
UNC is.
UNC gonna be tough. What about Daniel Snyder? He's finally come to his senses.
Perennial scumbag of the minute. Yes, yeah. He it has come out now that he's gonna sell the team. Thank you.
Yep. You got to go.
Yes. I heard some interesting names. Bezos, Amazon.
Right.
Him and Jay-Z. Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Yep.
They need some name cachet.
They were talking about this being a group. There was one other name, and I can't think of who it was now, that was also involved in that group. But, I don't think Jeff Bezos would have any problems securing the funds to buy. They're saying it's probably going to be $7 billion. So.
All right.
What else we got? Oh, of course, we talked a little bit about the LSU Alabama. You know what? They had another storming of the field.
Another storming of the field, yeah.
And the SEC did, even before that game, had announced that they're put together a committee to try to come up with solutions to curtail this because it is a safety issue. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was great. The fans could be involved in it and rush the field and feel like they were really a part of it. But now college football's business now. It's professional football. It's not like it used to be.
It's changed.
I did come up, I said last week or the week before, have the home team or the winning team have to forfeit the win.
Yeah, penalize.
I came up with another alternative. Also, is just don't let Alabama play on the road anymore.
Yeah, that seems to be our nemesis this year.
But what else you got coming in hot? What did we talk about? Frank Reich.
No, I mean he got shit canned.
He did
40, 33-1, 3-5 this year in a season where we kind of thought.
Yeah, I mean
the Colts were going to be.
I had them going to the AFC Championship.
I know.
I thought with the upgrade of Matty Ice over Carson Wentz with everything they had around them.
How about the choice of Jeff Saturday right out of the blue, and now he just announced a 30-year-old offensive coordinator just a little bit ago.
That's a shocker.
That is crazy, but I mean, I like Saturday. I think it's got some potential.
Well, and it goes deeper because really the Colts, they have struggled to find their way ever since Luck shocked them with his retirement.
Sure.
And they've tried to do these stopgap veteran. They brought in Phillip Rivers.
Right.
That didn't work. They brought in Carson Wentz. That didn't work. They brought in Matt Ryan. That didn't work. At some point, you've got to draft a quarterback and develop.
Right, yeah.
And they failed to do that, and they're paying for it.
Most success they had was during Peyton Manning.
So now, now I'm almost wondering if this Jeff Saturday hire is almost tanking so that they do get one of the top quarterbacks.
Not allowed to tank.
Well, but this is a way that they can accomplish it without trying.
Right.
So,
do we want to talk Kyrie Irving? Man, he's a scumbag.
He is, and really, not only, I saw today he may never even, some GMs are saying he'll never play in the NBA again, but also all these other guys that are jumping to support him. It's not a good look for,
right.
Ed Reed, Cole Beasley. There was another one that came out today.
Anti-Semitism. It's an ugly look.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't, any kind of judgment, any kind of hatred. There's no place for any of that.
Yeah, well, they slapped him with some rules that he has to meet for him to come back.
Right, and
I don't want to go through them.
And that's why they said that he may never play again because they don't think he'll ever accomplish those rules.
He's stubborn enough to not even do them, and who cares? I mean, the NBA is and the Nets. They're better off without you, Kyrie. Yeah. We're all better off without you trying to steal some limelight, like Antonio Brown.
Right.
I mean, we're all better off without you, man. I mean, even Adam Silver, the commissioner, he's Jewish.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Be gone, Kyrie. Who cares that you got good handles? Nobody cares no more, dude. You're a horrible person.
Well, I mean, how much has he played in the last couple of years?
I mean,
between
he's a good ball player, but he's a horrible person, man. Anyway,
yeah.
Joey Logano.
Yeah,
little NASCAR news.
Yeah.
Sport that I don't really care nothing about, honestly. But I mean, we live here in NASCAR Mecca.
Right.
Joey Logano. I thought this was interesting. He's in the 22 car, and he won in 2022. So that's the first time
that was a premonition.
Ever been accomplished. That's pretty cool.
Well, and San Diego State they announced that they're going to be joining the Pac-12. So they'll still need to find one more team once USC and UCLA leaves if they want to maintain 12. So we'll.
Ooh, that conference West Coast football gets ugly.
It's going to get even better, ain't it?
It's going to get ugly.
It's going to be Oregon's going to feel like Clemson. They're going to be all by themselves. Of course, this year Clemson, UNC might have something for Clemson this year.
I think they do have something for Clemson.
So that'll be interesting. We'll have to see what's going on there.
Sweet.
What else we got coming in hot? Is that everything?
That's the highlights, I think, of anything.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks finally lost in the NBA, but they're still leading the way 9-1. Bruins and the Knights are leading the way in NHL with 11-2 records, which is pretty impressive.
That's good.
This far into the season. But that's about all I had for coming in hot. Let's just jump right into some NFL.
Yeah.
Thursday night, the Eagles remained unbeaten.
Houston gave them a little challenge.
Yeah, and I'm not sold that the Eagles are just head and shoulders better than everybody else.
Yeah, but man, their schedule's pretty conducive to.
Up to this point, they've played the 31st.
Yeah.
Easiest schedule, or
yeah,
hardest, or whatever you want to call it. So they haven't played anybody.
No, and I mean,
and it doesn't get any harder.
Right. Yeah. Moving on. I mean, you think.
Wise,
I mean, I think they finished with your G-men at the end. And what's interesting though is let's just hypothetically say that the Eagles are 15, 16 and 0.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do with the starters? Are they going to play for the undefeated, or are they going to rest their starters?
No, they'll play. But I don't see them going undefeated because they still got to go to Dallas. They got to go to the Giants. I mean, and there's always upsets, and
there is.
They've been letting a lot of teams hang close. If they were in the AFC, I would say they're 4th or 5th best team in the AFC.
Really?
Because I would still put Kansas City ahead of them. I would still put Buffalo, depending on what happens with your boy with Josh Allen's elbow.
Yeah.
I would put Miami ahead of them.
I think they're on par with the Dolphins to me.
Possibly the Ravens.
Defensively, they're pretty tough.
That's the problem with the Dolphins. They got to fix that defense.
Yeah. The Ravens improved their defense.
And they made a hell of a trade
to
get
Roquan.
And the Dolphins did trade to get Chubb, so that is going to help their defense. Their problems on the back end, but
I listened to some info and read some stuff. Chubb's not elite.
Well, if you go by pass rush win rate, he is. But if you just want to
go by total sacks,
if you're looking at he does the things that affect the play that don't show up in the stat book.
I'm not saying he's not good.
He actually
don't know that he's
actually got the 3rd best pass. That's a tough one to say. Pass rush
win rate. I got you. So pressures.
Pressures.
He basically does a lot of pressure.
And he's only behind
Von Miller.
Who's the top guy?
Watt.
No, I think Watt.
It's one of the Bosas then.
I think it's Bosa.
Joey Bosa.
But I thought that was interesting because watching the game Sunday, I was like, he didn't really jump off the page at me, but then I saw the PFF said he had like a 33% win rate, which was actually tops for the weekend, and.
Yeah, but that's just 1 week, though. I swear I saw.
But for the season, no, he's top 5.
Okay, well
because
maybe
the Dolphins now have 2 top 5,
right?
Because Jalen Phillips is also.
Sure,
I think Chubb was 3 and Phillips was 4.
Yeah, Phillips is balling.
So, if they can.
Well, my Vikes are 7-1.
Your Vikes are looking good,
and they're winning games that they were not winning last year. They were losing single-digit games. And now this year they're actually putting games away, and they were at least 10 to 14 points better than Washington, but there was some BS plays that kept Washington in that game. But Vikings are looking pretty good. The GOAT.
He reached a couple of milestones.
The GOAT did some GOAT stuff.
100,000 passing yards.
Yeah. But despite wide receiver issues, drop balls, Mike Evans. He hit Scotty Miller in the face for a touchdown. I mean, the GOAT was doing some stuff, and so you want to talk about him struggling in a season with Aaron Rodgers struggling in a season? The GOAT is still out-goating Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. He's embarrassing Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers looked terrible. He threw 2 red zone interceptions. I mean, they called a beautiful play to throw it back to their offensive tackle, wide open. Rodgers underthrows him by 6 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
I mentioned Brady had a couple of milestones. One was reaching 100,000 passing yards, but the other one was now he's the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. Of course, I think that goes more to his longevity.
Sure.
Than it does anything else.
Yeah, no, he's been a magician on avoiding stuff, and he's got such a quick release, and he just has avoided a lot of sacks. But yeah, definitely the Rams are in trouble. Their offense is just horrible. I think the elbow issue is clearly affecting Stafford.
Yeah. Well, speaking of elbows.
Yeah. Right.
I've tried to do some research all the way up.
They're closed-lipped about it today.
I
thought they were getting some info back today.
Yeah, they just saying they're evaluating the UCL, which that's a scary.
I saw the play happen, and I immediately knew he. And then the next play, I see him grab his elbow and flexing his hand. So that's clearly going to.
And that's huge. I mean that is huge. A team. There's two teams that are very highly dependent on their quarterback, and that's the Bills and the Ravens.
Yeah.
So much of their offense goes through.
Yeah, you might even want to put the Eagles in that mix too, really.
Yeah, but I think the Eagles
could survive
with another quarterback more so. I just don't see the Bills because they have no running game.
No, zero. I think they don't choose to have one, though.
Yeah.
They just don't choose to have one.
And the Ravens' running game is their quarterback.
Right.
So, of course, now when Lamar did miss some games, that Huntley kid behind him did a good Lamar Jackson impersonation.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Lamar-esque type quarterback.
Right. But the Bills, I don't see them as Super Bowl contenders if this elbow injury is serious.
Well, we talk about serious, but I mean, did you see the last play of the game?
Yeah, he
throws a 70. He still threw a 70-yard dart that Davis should have caught.
Right. But what they're saying though, what it could affect is not necessarily the strength,
accuracy.
But the accuracy, which that for a quarterback in the NFL, that's more important than arm strength.
Well, I know that Josh Allen injury helps our fantasy league because I know a lot of people know my team relies heavily on Josh Allen, much like the Bills do.
And man, you were matching up this weekend.
Yeah, I already have to play you with one running back less.
Yeah, but you get Chubbs back.
Yeah, I mean I do, but I mean I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Unless I pull off a trade, there's a trade in the works.
But yeah, that AFC East is, to me, by far the best division in football.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
And like I said, that you got the Bills at 6-2, and then you got both the Dolphins and the Jets at 6-3. Now, if the Bills lose Allen for any length of time, that opens the door for the Jets and the Jets and the Dolphins to take control. It's going to be interesting to watch. That's, I hate that for Josh. Because he was,
MVP type caliber.
On an MVP season, had his team, considered to be 1A or 1B.
I think no information right now is bad news.
Yeah, usually
it would be
that silence.
I think they're getting maybe like a second or third opinion.
Right.
So I think it's bad news.
Yeah, let's hope for the best though. Speaking of running quarterbacks. Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Your trash Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to eat a little crow on the Bears, the comment on the Bears, but I'm still sticking to my guns on Justin. I mean, he's running.
Right.
And I mean, I think that's a good strategy by the Bears. I mean, run him until he figures out how to throw an accurate ball.
Yeah, but
he had 50 yards more rushing than he did passing.
Yeah.
He
was running. He looked like a running back. He didn't look like a run.
Right.
Lamar looks like a running quarterback.
Sure.
Justin looked like a running back.
Yeah, I mean, he put up huge fantasy numbers, but not good NFL.
Right.
I mean, if you really look at it.
Right.
So I mean, I still got to give props to the Bears for they're a lot better. But I mean, everybody's a lot better than we originally predicted.
Well, except for the ones we predicted to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making us not look so good this year. The Panthers continue cleaning house. I got rid of a couple more coaches.
Yeah.
So, what else? You got anything else you wanted to highlight?
I think the last thing I wanted to say was, what about Sauce Gardner, man?
Oh, yeah.
He is like...
Which I was a fan of his.
Yeah, I was too, but who would ever guess that he might be top 5 corner in the league? Not rookie.
Right, just overall.
Just entire corner.
I mean, he's a shut-down corner.
He's shut down, man. He is amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So I thought I'd throw him out there. What, you got any games to watch this week?
I picked 3. I got the Vikings and the Bills. Of course,
Might not be a good game now.
Depending on what happens with Josh and his
Good
elbow.
for a Vikings fan.
Right. But you got 7-1 versus 6-2, two of the top teams, one from the NFC, one from the AFC. So I got that as a game to watch. The Sunday night game is the Chargers against the Niners, and they both need wins.
Yeah, they're both in desperate need of wins.
Yeah. And then the Monday night game I found intriguing because the Commanders had your Vikings on the ropes. Actually, the Vikings had to come back from 10 down.
Yeah, but miracle throw to Curtis Samuel where our free safety trips over the referee. The back line official, that was like an immaculate reception.
With Heineke in there, they've been playing better ball. So, it is in Philadelphia. So I expect the Eagles to win. But I thought it might be an entertaining game nonetheless. So
I like the Seattle-Tampa Bay game because Tampa Bay looked to me like Tom decided they were going to win.
Yeah.
And so if Tom can keep that going and everybody else starts coming around, I think I think it'll be a fun game to watch because Tampa Bay's got to win. I mean, they need W's.
Oh, yeah.
And Seattle's
not in their division, they don't.
No, their division's garbage. But hell, if they win, a couple more games, they can cruise.
That might lock up the division.
Exactly. So I like that game.
Oh, and speaking of that division, the Panthers are going back to P.J. Walker.
Oh, did they announce that?
Yep. It's the Thursday night game.
They get Darnold back though.
Yeah, they assigned him or they brought him back. Yeah, and but because it's short preparation week,
right?
The coach said he was going back with P.J. Walker.
No, I think we'll see Darnold in the second half.
Yeah, or even Baker, but
Baker had a great second half, but the Bengals were up.
Right, yeah.
42-7.
The game was over.
I think according to PFF, there was one blitz in the second half. So you could be misguided by his numbers thinking, oh, God, Baker's figured it out.
There's a difference between garbage time and
that's right.
game time.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on into college then.
Let's get it over with.
And it was a rough day for the Heisman. A lot of the Heisman contenders. I think Hooker and Stroud were considered to be running away with the thing, and Stroud put up decent numbers, but he still, to me, didn't look good. He just looked so-so. Nobody's
really stepped forward.
Hooker definitely struggled with that Georgia defense. Bryce didn't look like Bryce.
No.
Some of his numbers looked good, but he completed less than 50% of his passes.
Yeah, he didn't look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable at all.
Corum, he went over 100, but it took him 20 carries. It wasn't. I think now the door's open for Drake May at UNC.
Yeah, Drake May. If you look at quarterbacks, that's pretty much. I think we all know Heisman
is usually a
quarterback award. I think Drake May clearly going to be on the top of the Heisman watch for next year, but he's putting up Heisman-esque numbers
right now. Yeah,
and UNC's playing good football, and they got.
What if they win out?
Yeah,
the ACC.
They have some big games in front of some big audiences, so you can't really rule him out yet.
I think the door's open for him. I think the door's open for Williams at USC.
Yeah,
and it pains me to say it, but I think Bo Nix is.
Well, his name's been mentioned.
And he's doing it, throwing, running, catching, a little bit of everything.
It seemed like this podcast predicted him as a dark horse for Heisman at the beginning of the podcast season for us.
Right.
I don't know who said that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure either.
Anyway. Yeah, no, he's not an Auburn anymore, so I can kind of like him.
All right, well, it's like I said, he usually comes up big in small games and comes up small in big games.
Yeah, that's true.
What did he do against Georgia?
Yeah.
So we'll see when the games mean more.
Right.
How that works out for him. All right, let's jump into who you got in the playoffs, or who your top four are.
My top four are as listed here. This is 1 through 4. Georgia 1, clearly Georgia number 1.
Absolutely, after what they did at Tennessee.
Yep,
No
that
doubt.
that was impressive.
It was. I mean, they laid a couple of stinkers. I mean, they haven't lost yet, but a couple of them were stinkers.
Yeah,
Missouri,
they had a couple bad games, but I mean, every championship team has a couple games like that.
So I mean, right now they are definitely above everybody else.
Yeah, they manhandled Tennessee. Personally, okay. I thought it was a pretty. I mean, they didn't win by a lot, but
right.
It just looked easy to me. Yeah,
it was domination.
Yeah.
Well, the committee's got Ohio State at number 2.
No, I got Michigan number 2.
I do too. We disagree with the committee.
I got Michigan number 2, and I mean, if it wasn't for a Big 12 team, I almost put TCU 3. I mean, to me, Ohio just. I mean, they haven't been that impressive.
I mean,
their resume's garbage.
Yeah. I mean, they got the one win at Penn State, which they didn't look great in.
They didn't look great.
They looked terrible this weekend in Northwestern. I know the weather probably played a little bit of it, but Northwestern had to play in that weather too. And
sure, absolutely.
all you could do was,
They pulled away late.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tight game most of the game.
And that was just the Jimmies and Joes were just better.
Right. And I'm with you. I was tempted to put TCU 3, but it's just, I guess it's that lack of respect for the Big 12.
Well, yeah, I don't want my personal bias to come into this podcast either on the Buckeyes, but honestly, TCU has better wins.
They do,
but those wins are starting to fade.
Yeah, because those other teams aren't continuing to win.
Exactly. So I got Ohio 3 and TCU 4.
That's the way I ranked it.
Tennessee's on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon with their resurgence is on the outside looking in. But I feel dirty even saying that with as bad as Georgia made them look.
Yeah. Of course, that was game 1.
I know.
It's like UNC is now playing some good ball, and they really should have lost to App.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, and how many? What did they give up? 40 points in the fourth quarter, or fourth and beyond,
it was something like it was like something like 60-something points combined scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so, I mean,
their defense has gotten better and better and better,
right.
But better and better in the ACC is what
right.
I don't think it's much to brag on, but
right.
They do have a top-rated quarterback, and they're looking better.
Yep.
They're looking better. I mean, I personally think UNC wins the ACC. I think they're going to smack Clemson around.
I can see Dabo making the quarterback move to save the ACC.
Klubnik hadn't exactly.
No, he hasn't, but I got more confidence in him than I do Uyunglele.
Yeah, DJU's days are done. I can see him maybe transferring because he's not ready for the draft. I mean, he might come out. Who knows?
Nah, I mean, but I haven't even heard his name mentioned.
I don't even know if he's ready. If he's
he came out the same year as Bryce.
Okay,
remember him and Bryce were 1A and 1B.
Exactly.
So he's eligible.
I could see him transferring. I can see him going to the portal. He needs a change.
Yeah, he might need to go out to USC if Caleb Williams. I don't know if he might not be eligible.
No, he was a true freshman last year.
Yeah, he's just a sophomore, so he's got to stay one more year.
I didn't even look at. I'm still kind of reeling from.
Still in shock
from losing. From being out of the playoffs.
Right.
For the first time in a few years, it's uncharted territory.
We've never been able to say that before Thanksgiving, so we don't know what it feels like.
It does. It feels really weird. So I kind of lost my steam a little bit on college football. I'm gonna regain it. So I didn't really look at what. I mean, obviously, I know we're playing Ole Miss.
Alabama, Ole Miss. I got that game. Because I want to have the players packed it in for the season.
Yeah.
Or are they going to answer back and say, you know what, we're going down swinging.
Yeah, because, there's nothing to say LSU can't trip up. They still got to go to Texas A&M.
And Arkansas.
So LSU can trip.
Which that was my second game to watch was LSU and Arkansas.
Yeah, we're huge Razorback fans this weekend.
Well, does LSU have a hangover? Sometimes when you go all in on a game like that, that next game is a letdown. So
absolutely,
that's a game to watch. Washington and Oregon. Oregon, we just talked about them.
Yeah, Huskies are.
Washington's 7-2.
Yeah, the Huskies are good.
Now it is in Oregon, so home field advantage there. But Georgia and Mississippi State. Georgia too. They coming off. They have to go to Mississippi State. Mississippi State 6-3.
Yeah, but Mississippi State dink and dunk.
Yeah, Georgia should handle
plays
them,
right into Georgia's strength on defense.
But like I said, I like to see, and I kind of titled my games to watch this weekend. How do they respond?
Yeah, all right.
Because like I said, Alabama, how they respond coming off that loss. LSU, how they respond coming off that big win.
Who's Clemson got this weekend?
I did not put them as one of my games to watch. The only other game I had to watch was TCU because they've got to keep winning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If TCU even stumbles,
right,
Tennessee's in and TCU's out.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
If TCU wants to keep Tennessee out of the playoffs, if Tennessee wins out,
yeah, exactly.
They're going to have to keep winning, and they have to go to Texas, which I know Texas. You never know what team's going to show up there, but they have to go to Texas this weekend. So, I've got that as a game to watch. So,
Clemson's against Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville's defense is decent.
Yeah, because Louisville knocked off Wake.
And then, of course, Clemson finishes with South Carolina, and I really think the Gamecocks got something for them this year.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'd like to see how Clemson responds. To stay on your theme.
All right. Well,
is that it?
That's all I've got on college football. Other than everybody wants to talk this week about the Alabama dynasty. Is it over? Has the rest of the college football world caught up with Alabama? Pump the brakes just a little bit.
I think so.
Alabama's got 2 losses. One on a last-second field goal at a very hostile Neyland Stadium.
On the road.
One by a 2-point conversion in overtime.
On the road
In a very hostile night environment at Death Valley. Yes, I've heard Danny Cannell and others make the argument. Yeah, but they're 2 plays away from being 5-4. It's a good point, Danny. But I can make the point that they're 2 plays away from being 9-0.
9-0, exactly.
So, and then Feinbaum said, well, Nick Saban hadn't won a championship in 5 years. He usually wins them every other year. But we won in 2017 and 2020. So if we win one next year, it's right there in that 3-year. And we just played for one last year.
Right, exactly. You can't. I hate to say a cliche, you can't win them all, but what's a dynasty anyway?
Right.
And really, if you want to judge a dynasty, it's based on wins and it's based on championships
and longevity.
And so if it's based on that, then absolutely we're still the dynasty.
Yeah.
We are still the standard. I realize Georgia's as good as Alabama
right now.
I realize they've recruited as good as us for the last 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
But they're equal to us right now.
Right. Clemson was equal to us.
Clemson was, and
Ohio State at one
point. What
point.
happened to Clemson?
Right.
And our dynasty was over in 2018.
Talk to me when you've done it for 4 or 5 years, not 2 years. So,
and I don't mind. We've talked about this on our podcast that we like the parody.
Absolutely.
Bama Murder Ball. It was fun.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It was fun every Saturday knowing that we were probably the best team in all phases. But that did get boring.
Yeah, it got
boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really did. And after 6 natties, it got really boring.
Right. We're still sitting at 6 in 13 seasons. So we're still almost averaging 1 every 2 years.
What program doesn't want that? Come on, man. And the people that Georgia, for example. Okay, you're the best team this year.
Yeah.
All right? You are the best team. But you've won 2 national championships since 1980.
Yeah.
Nick has done that in his time at Alabama times 3.
Yep.
So Clemson, Dabo, you've won twice. And then you won in 1982?
Something like that. That sounds about right.
So you got 3.
Yeah.
Nick is better than you times 2.
Yep.
So I don't care if you think our dynasty's over. That doesn't matter to me because I really don't care about the dynasty talk. But what I know is we're going to be back next year.
Right.
We're still going to be a top 5 team preseason.
Well, I mean, look at Nick's still pulling top recruiting classes.
Yeah, we're number one right now.
In every odd year, I found this interesting. So 2019, we were first. 2021, we were first. Currently, 2023, we're ranked first. In the even years, we finished second. 2020, we were second. 2022, we were second. But that's 5 straight recruiting classes of either being 1 or 2. So,
and we have 5 stars verbally committed now.
And you know, the players that are kind of affecting the team right now were recruited during COVID. So recruiting was a little different during that time.
Well, it's funny you bring up our ranking in recruiting. So why are we struggling to reload? Why are we struggling to develop? Because we have gone into the transfer portal, and our best players over the last few seasons have come from the transfer portal.
But I think that relates back to Nick not being able to get in front of these recruits back in 2020.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it relates to. This is what I think it relates to. It relates to Kirby Smart, Mario Cristobal, Billy Napier, Mel Tucker, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Mike Loxley, Butch Jones, Dan Lanning, Jim McElwain, Kurt Signetti, Charles Huff. Every one of these guys I just named are current head coaches.
Yeah, and they're all
programs.
Great recruiters.
They're all awesome recruiters that the GOAT has had to replace.
Yep.
And if you don't think that this affects our development and the turnover that he has had to deal with, that's why we've delved into the transfer portal, and that's why right now we don't look as strong. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Right. Well, now you got NIL money also playing. You know, Texas A&M can go out and buy the best recruiting class. You know, talking about winning championships, you get a team like LSU with Joe Burrow, once in a lifetime. I mean, that team was stacked. You know, yeah, you can be consistently good year after year, but if one team pops up and is
you hit a home run on Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and then you threw in a transfer of Joe Burrow. I mean, those 3 right there. I mean, those 2 receivers can't even be covered in the NFL.
Right?
So I mean that was a home run. I mean,
they beat us by what?
Oh, they struggled to beat
less than a touchdown to an injured quarterback. So
and Devontae put on the best show of all that night. But
let's pump the brakes a little bit on the dynasty.
Brakes, man. Yeah, and Alabama fans, we're the worst, man. We are the worst. I'm tired of reading. You know, the GOAT needs to retire. The GOAT needs to step down. You know,
he needs to retire when he decides he wants to.
He's
retire.
earned that.
Absolutely.
He's earned
this is only the second time that we'll miss the playoffs since the playoffs were started.
I know,
and the playoffs are about to expand. So you think we're going to miss any more playoffs?
Exactly.
Once they expand?
Think about this. We could easily be if the expansion. We could easily be like the 12th.
Yeah, we would
be 10, 11, or 12.
We would be. I mean, the committee's got us ranked 9th right now. If the playoffs were already expanded, we'd be in the playoffs this year.
And who the hell wants to face
a Bryce Young
this year? Alabama at 10, 11, 12 seed. I mean, that would put us playing Ohio or TCU. Yeah. Tennessee again.
TCU would want any.
No, exactly.
Well, you know,
pump the brakes. That should be the theme of this segment. Pump the brakes.
You know, talking about this season, and kind of what I was referring to on the recruiting class 3 years ago. We only have one player on offense with a first round grade going into the NFL draft. Yeah. Now, I do think like a J.C. Latham will be a first-round talent, you know, once he moves to left tackle next year and keeps developing. I think J. Mark Gibbs is a definite NFL talent, but running backs aren't really rated first round.
No, I mean it's a crapshoot.
None of the wide receivers right now are showing first round talent. So
no.
Looking at the team, it's it does need an injection, and we are going to need this year's freshman class that just came in. Last year's, they're going to have to step up next year.
Some receivers in that class that we expected more out of this year, and in terms of their development that were no shows.
Yep.
So I mean, we could break down all the reasons that we struggled this year. I mean, but that could be another show. Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, 185 and 27. I think we all agree that we need some splash hires, and I don't know where the splash hires are going to come from.
I definitely think Bill O'Brien needs to go take over his own team, be a head coach.
He needs to move on with his vanilla offense and his predictability.
Yeah, his wide receiver screens.
Yeah, I mean, the dude has no imagination in pass game development and route trees. Our route trees are so boring and predictable. And how often do we ever utilize the middle of the field?
Right.
With our our diagrams? It's embarrassing.
I mean, Cameron Latou could have been a mismatch.
Jamar Gibbs, a little out and in back, and catching him across and crossing routes. I mean, we can talk about this all day long. I mean, we did not have the over the top speed to take the top off the defense.
I definitely think we need to upgrade it at offense coordinator, and possibly, like we talked a little bit earlier, possibly at DC also. As
I like Golding better than I do O'Brien, but
same. But have we seen his best? It seems kind of like they've kind of flatlined, and he's not really shown an ability to make in-game adjustments. And if we are going to remain a dynasty, we may need to upgrade both at OC and DC.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if we hear some names.
But I definitely don't think that we need to be talking about, or not we, but that the media should be declaring the dynasty dead, because this is about the fifth time or sixth time that they've declared it dead.
Yeah. That's all, again, that's shock jock stuff, and that's relevancy. We're relevant because you're still talking about us. We're relevant because you're still storming the field when you beat us.
You still see the signs on game day. We want Bama.
We want Bama. I mean, I haven't seen any sign that says we want Georgia. No. We want Clemson. We want Bama.
We're still the gold standard that every other program is measured against.
Yeah, and Clemson stepped up. Georgia has stepped up. I mean, Tennessee's got a freaking rising star coach.
And like I said, any team can do it for a year or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to me when you've done it for half a dozen years.
At least Georgia. I mean, I kind of feel like you're going to win back to back.
Yeah, and they lost to us in 2020.
Yeah. So Georgia has.
They've
put their foot forward more than Clemson did.
I was going to say right now that, Clemson had 2 in 4 years.
Yeah, but Clemson rode the coattails of a quarterback. Yeah. And then a freshman quarterback, number one.
Right.
Number one draft.
Pick, yeah.
Georgia has built theirs.
I would still kind of put until Georgia. If Georgia wins it this year, then they'll
put you even, Steven.
Yeah, that gives them 2.
Yeah, but Georgia
would be 2 with 1 loss, and Clemson would be 2 with 2 losses. So I'm still going to put Georgia on par with Clemson.
Yeah,
until
I
another
can
year
see that,
or 2.
But I mean, I got Georgia with the eyeball test.
Yep.
And their recruiting, and the fact that their recruiting is getting better and better.
Well, they play in a better conference, and I mean, I get that.
Jonathan Allen at the NFL level. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's dominant. Mm-hmm. We haven't had it. Him and Quinnen. Quinnen was our
Payne.
Daron Payne, but Quinnen was our last
Dominant D.
dominant D lineman.
That's because they've been going to Georgia and Clemson.
I know, exactly. We got to get back to that, man. Yeah. You build your program from the interior.
Right.
I mean, you remember Superman, Jonathan Allen, Superman tackle. I mean, Jonathan Allen was probably one of my favorite.
Who does that?
Bama players ever.
Bama does.
Bama does. I mean, we just haven't had that kind of dog.
Right.
Well, in a while. I mean, Will's a dog. Now, Will's a dog.
I thought we were going to get it from Will in Dallas this year, but they really haven't.
Well, Will's been double-teamed and chipped. And
if we would have had that Jonathan Allen or D-Payne or Q in the middle where they couldn't double and triple the outside, then yeah.
Dallas didn't have the season I expected him to, with Will getting the whatever the word
double
is.
team,
yeah,
the attention.
The attention. With Will getting the attention that he's gotten, I really felt like Dallas was going to be so unstoppable.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
All right, well, let's put an end to this talk. The dynasty ain't dead.
Not dead, man.
Not yet. I know it's all wishful thinking.
Bama fans.
I know it's bait click.
Bama fans, don't jump. Don't jump.
We're fine.
We're okay, man. We're okay. Look at our recruiting. We're fine. There's a reason for this, and we've laid some of that out. I mean, it was inevitable.
And don't be spoiled. It ain't fair to the team to all of a sudden be down on them with one loss or now two losses. It seems like every year.
Yeah. Trust me, the coach knows.
The unreal expectations that are put on these kids.
The players know what's being said on social media. And Bama fans need to unite, man, and get behind this program, because they have brought us a tremendous amount of joy over the last 10+ years that is unreal. And if you were an Alabama alum like we are, and you saw the university change the way it has since Saban has been there, it's amazing. It's amazing. So there's no reason to freak out.
Right.
We're not gone.
Nah.
We're not gone. We just decided to let a few other teams play this year.
And when Nick does decide to retire in 8 years and we bring in Lane Kiffin, it's going to be more the same.
It will be more the same, more exciting.
Hold out, Lane. Hold out, Lane. Stay at Ole Miss till you come to Bama.
We're gonna lay out a transitional plan for all of this in another show, because we've already talked about it. We got ideas. Just chill, Bama. Just chill. And the rest of y'all, I'm glad you're putting us, burying us, putting dirt on our coffin.
Goat fuel.
That's goat fuel, baby. That's goat fuel. We'll talk next year.
Poison.
We'll talk next year when Bama's back in there.
All right. Well, let's wrap up this part of the show and make our way over to the bar. We got a couple of Penelopes over there that we're going to sample, and after we taste them, we're going to rate that shit. See you at the bar.
4, 3, 2, are you ready?
Welcome to Colby's Bar. It's time for Rate That Shit. Looks like we got some nice ones today.
Yeah, we got a couple of Penelopes, and they're both about a $60 bottle of bourbon. I think the barrel strength's a little bit. You might have to pay, a few dollars more than the Architect, but like I said, they're in the $60 range. Now, these are both distilled at the MGP's Lawrenceburg, Indiana distillery, but then they're aged at a place we've been. Bardstown. They're aged at the Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, you remember they were telling us on the tour that, hey, yeah, we age for different people, but they wouldn't tell us who all it was. Well, this is some of what they're aging at Bardstown.
Okay.
Kind of a little, I'm not going to get into the whole backstory, but Penelope was founded by a guy and his buddy. The guy was about to, him and his wife were expecting a baby. The baby's name, Penelope. He wanted to commemorate the birth by creating his own whiskey to celebrate Penelope. And that's kind of how this brand was born. So, I was going to say let's start with the Architect, but I think we need to start with giving our rating system.
Well, those of you watching, you can actually see the rating system behind me if you're listening. We do a rating system 1 through 4. 1 is our low level. We call that one the brown bag. We don't like it. We're embarrassed you even are serving it to us.
That's right.
And we clearly won't invest in a 1. Number 2 for us, it's getting a little bit better, but
Might need to spice it up a little bit.
yeah, it's a mixer for
Add
us.
something
You
to
gotta-
it just to.
It's not that great of a bourbon if you got to put some Coke in it,
That's right.
honestly.
That's right.
Number 3, it's close. It's close, but to us, number 3 is on the rocks. We're gonna drop a
A
rock
nice
in there.
big solid ice, cube that
Mm-hmm.
slowly melts. So it chills the drink, maybe dilutes it ever so slowly,
Yeah.
but not just.
Yeah, if you got to, like, for us, our palate's usually somewhere around 90 to 100 proof.
Right.
And if you got a high proof bourbon, you might want to dilute it a little
Just
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, the top for us is number 4.
Yep.
And that is neat. We just want to put that in maybe your favorite bourbon glass, or for me, I like it in
The Glencairn.
in the Glen. That's to me my favorite way to drink a bourbon. So why don't you
All right.
give us the rundown?
Well, let's start with the Architect. So the Penelope
No,
Architect.
This is the barrel. That's the Architect.
Oh, you've set them up here today. I usually
My
put
bad.
no. Just leave them where they are because
okay.
we've got them poured. I usually go lower proof to higher proof. I didn't even think about the
got you.
fact that you set it up, and we didn't even talk about which one we were going to do first. All right, so this one's the Architect.
All right.
So we're going to start. We're going to go left.
We'll go
my
left.
left to right this
right.
time. So we're going to start with the Architect because it's 104 proof. I say we're going to start with the lower proof, and the 104 proof is the lower proof of the two we're drinking tonight.
Right.
So we're going to start with the Architect. It's a 4-grain mash bill that is finished with French oak staves. Like I said, it's 104 proof, about $60. It's got 75% corn, 15% wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley. They age it for anywhere from 4 to 5.5 years. And your aroma should be a sweet candied cream and floral with a hint of creme brulee.
Creme brulee.
You getting any of that?
I'm definitely getting the floral.
Yeah, the floral.
The sweetness and the floral. Mm-hmm. I can detect a little vanilla spice in there. I don't know about creme brulee. But
you say vanilla, and I was just about to mention the taste is supposed to be a rich vanilla with a lingering heat.
okay.
I'm glad you pointed out to me which was which because I would have been describing the wrong bottle. Interesting.
It is.
It does have a lingering heat.
It definitely has a lingering heat. It's got the nice hug. Mm-hmm. I get a good hug from it.
It's not quite as spot on description as Old Forester, but it's
No.
pretty close. It's pretty close. I get the vanilla, I get the heat. Didn't really get any creme brulee.
No creme brulee for me either.
It's spicy. It's got some spice to it.
Man, I was so looking forward to the Architect. I mean, it's good. It's good to me. I'm getting the vanilla on the back end for sure.
Right.
Not a lot of complexity to it to me. I mean, it was like it kind of came in peppery,
Yeah, that's
spicy, peppery.
I was trying to put a word to it, and peppery is a good description.
It's spicy, peppery with a nice medicinal hug up front, and then it slowly dissipates and finishes a little vanilla and sweet. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much viscosity or viscous to it, like it didn't coat my mouth. It's not, to me, it wasn't as impressive as an Old Forester.
Right. So where you at? 2, 3?
No, I'm definitely gonna fall at a 3 on that one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall at a 3.
Okay.
It's a solid 3.
It's teetering for me just because I'm not that fan of the spicy or the peppery.
Now this one I bought on the secondary in South Carolina,
Okay.
and it was 80.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure
Yeah.
what you paid for it, and I just looked up at the ABC prices.
No.
And they were 60 at the ABC.
It was-
Retail.
It was the ABC in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I was down there golfing and I
Gotcha.
passed it and so it was $80. So I'm a little disappointed
Right.
in the price point / taste.
Yeah. I'm gonna defer to you on that one. We'll give that one a 3. We'll call that one on the rocks.
You know, I've been watching some really guys that I value as high ranked tasters, and they really like the Penelope line. So I was really excited about this Penelope line. But to be honest with you, these will probably sit in my collection because I could see myself going to the Old Forester
right.
Statesman, which is cheaper
And a little bit better flavor.
and a better flavor.
Yep.
You know, a lot more complex.
I agree with you. I mean, it's a good to have in your collection.
And this one's a hard one to get a hold
It's
of.
a good one to share with your company
Yeah.
if they want to try it.
I jumped on that as soon as I saw
Right.
it because of its difficulty in finding the architect.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm
Okay.
a little
So
disappointed.
the Penelope Architect, we're going to give it a 3. We're going
Yeah.
to call that on the rocks. So now let's move on to the barrel strength. Now this is uncut and non-chilled. It's 115.2 proof.
Wow.
It's also a 4-grain mash, but it's a little bit. And actually, that one says 0.8. The one on their website said 0.2, so that one's actually
Now
even a little higher.
This one I think was a store pick.
Okay.
That's why it's a little
bit
bit
higher.
a little bit different because this
Okay.
one is a Catawba
Select
County Select.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
And
why
you
I
know,
bought this one.
Catawba County usually does good on their selects.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
we live in and around Catawba County, North Carolina, and you know we frequent a couple ABC stores in Catawba County. Matt works at Colby, excuse me, works in Catawba County. So
Oh, I thought you were saying I worked at the ABC store. No, I'm just there every day. I don't get a paycheck.
well, they think you might as well give him a paycheck as often as he's there. No, he works in Catawba County.
Right.
So
Yes.
Catawba County, you know, they do have some really good picks.
Their barrel selects. I have not been disappointed. You know, we've had the Old Soul. We've had the Southern Star. A couple of the other Catawba Valley selects, and they have been very good.
Now, I paid big for this one too.
Okay.
So together, both of these were about 150, 160 bucks. So, you know, I would expect a little.
Yeah, retail, like I said on the ABC website, retail was $62 for this one.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you personally paid. It's going to
Right.
vary, especially if you go to a state that it's not controlled.
Yeah.
They can price it whatever they want to. So
Factor that into our rating system because that kind of affects
yeah,
a
yeah.
little how
Yeah,
I
if
rate
you-
stuff.
yeah, the more you pay, the more you expect.
Exactly.
It's like a steak. You don't want to pay $50 for a
Right.
Food Lion steak. So 115, like I said, this one's 0.8 proof. Typically, if it's not a select barrel, it might be a 115.2 proof. It's also a 4-grain. The mash is a little bit different than the Architect. It's only 74% corn and 16% wheat. So you had that 1 extra percent of the wheat in this one. This one's aged anywhere from 3.5 to 5 years. You're supposed to get a caramel and maple syrup.
I'm getting definitely some maple syrupy.
So this,
sweet
you said you were looking forward to
nose.
the Architect. This was the one I was looking forward to when I saw
this-
the aromas and tastes.
This one's definitely got a good nose to it to me.
Yes,
This one's
it doesn't
much
have
better nose.
it doesn't have that spicy smell.
This one's got better legs.
And then when
I like the color of that one,
yeah,
but this one's got better legs, better nose.
now your taste is supposed to start out with some cinnamon and maple syrup, and then again have that lingering spice and heat on the back end.
Yeah, definitely mapley, vanilla. Is that a word? Vanilla?
Millie.
Millie, vanilla. Definitely millie, vanilla, mapley on the back end. A little spice, a little kick to it. I don't get 115 proof out of that. That's really
No,
smooth.
I had more heat off of the Architect than
That's
I
real
did.
peppery.
Yeah, and that's probably why. I like this one better than the Architect, but it's still not a 4 for me. It's still not up there with the ones we've been giving 4s to, the Old Foresters,
That's good though.
the Chicken
I
Cock.
definitely like this one. This one is definitely my favorite of the two.
Absolutely.
That is a really smooth.
It is smooth,
bourbon
especially at
for that
115.
proof.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a solid 3. I would, if we did a point, it would be higher than 3. 3 for me.
Right.
But I definitely think if you can get a hold of this barrel strength,
Yeah, we might have to expand our rating system because a lot of times we do struggle between the two numbers.
yeah, that
I
jump
already
of-
changed it to our socials,
Well,
but
that jump from on the rocks to
the 3 to the 4.
to the 4,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
A lot of times I want to say, that's a 3.5, but we don't have a 3.5.
I don't want to just give 4s out like just generously, but
Here lately we've been
I
giving them
mean,
pretty good, but
yeah,
like I said,
I mean-
to me this would have been between a 2 and a 3, and this one would have been between a 3 and a 4. But
yeah.
but I'm gonna go just 3 with both of them.
3 across
Both
both
of
of them. We're kicking
We're just
butt
making up
tonight
words
on the
tonight.
grammar, aren't we?
Yeah, all these 100 proof bourbons.
Vanilla-y. This was more vanilla-y, very peppery. I don't know. I like this one. They're both expensive.
This one by the Barrel Strength.
Yeah, this is the barrel. Yeah, I like the barrel strength. Both are very expensive, in terms of bourbon.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more of a collect. to
Yeah,
me,
that's
it's
why
a
it's
collector's
a
bourbon.
collector. It's a sipper. You're not gonna want to share more than an ounce with a
Glen, yeah. Just a nice little 1 ounce Glencairn
Yeah, just-
pour and
yep.
sip it. I like the Architect because I'm trying to build my Penelope collection, but honestly, I can think of a lot of bourbons I would drink over the Penelope.
Yeah.
If you're not a collector, I don't recommend buying the Architect. If you just like good bourbons to drink and you want to have a higher dollar bourbon, I highly recommend the Barrel Strength. I think that was very tasty.
Yeah, but I'd go get a Chicken Cock.
Oh yeah,
before-
Chicken
before
Cock,
Penelope,
an Old Forester,
'cause they're
Statesman.
they're going to be cheaper. They're going to be now
Slightly
if you get this for retail, they're going to be about that
yeah,
$60
but a store
range.
pick, a store
Right.
pick, might have influenced that flavor just a little
Right.
bit. It's not gonna be. You're gonna pay for that.
Yep.
So
All right. Well, great.
Penelopes are good.
yeah.
I mean they're good.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up episode 16.
16, man.
Who'd have thunk it?
Huh? Yeah, I can't believe I've stomached you this long. No, I'm just kidding. We talk
And we-
anyway, man.
It was like when what it was it Saturday when we were watching the football game, and then we just started going off on a tangent on the side, and everybody's like, "Y'all aren't filming your podcast."
Right? They were like, "We should be filming this. We should be filming this." It was actually off the cuff, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we just have to hire a crew from now on just to
Yeah.
follow us around everywhere we go and film us all the time, because some of the best conversations we get into is when we're not filming.
Right. I'm almost to the point where I think we should just come in here and just.
All right,
What do you want to talk about?
next week unscripted?
Yeah, you want to do that
Let's do
next
it.
week?
Next week unscripted.
Unscripted.
Because
so,
we actually hadn't talked about what we were going to do next week.
right.
So next week unscripted. Now we'll still give it to
We'll stick to our general outline.
yeah,
We're
general
gonna-
outline, but no notes, just
Yeah.
unscripted, and we'll just talk about what comes up.
That's it. That sounds good.
All right,
I think
Sounds
we'll do
good.
it.
Sounds good. You got something to toast with?
I do always, man. Always. If not, I got
Yeah,
two
we
right
got.
here.
I'm sure we can find something.
I still have this Ezra.
Yeah, and I've still got a little bit of that Heaven Hill left. Yeah, we've been sipping on some strong stuff tonight.
Right? Yeah.
But another good episode. Another
The dynasty's not done, man.
nah.
It's not done.
And Alabama's dynasty's not done either.
That's right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
The
bourbon
bourbon
buzz.
buzz and ball. Our dynasty is
It's just beginning.
Our dynasty is distilling right now.
That's right.
It's aging.
We're in the early stages of aging. We just got barreled and put in the rick house.
Cowherd, look out. PFF, look out.
Barstool, we're coming for you.
Barstool has some big
Or
names.
Barstool, you coming for us? I might even have to fire up a stogie for next week's show, since we're just gonna be kicking back, chilling, and just talking.
Stogie, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
We don't need you getting sick on the podcast.
Not much of a stogie smoker anymore.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll see you next
All
week.
right, see you.
Cheers.
Cheers.